Howdy folks, just got back off of work. Another day for our daily Sudoku. Today looks like a very hard puzzle again. Alright, well, shall we dig in? I am looking for pairs. I see lots of pairs all over. I see lots of 4s, I see 9s, I see 8s. 2's caught my eye really quick here. I have a 2 and a 2. And a 2 down here, so 2 down the left, 2 down the center, 2 down the bottom. I see 2 3s, 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, 3 at the bottom. I see a 4 across the top, a 4 across the bottom, 4 in the middle. Let's mark a couple things here. I see this 8 that comes across, leaves me 2 spots for my 8. So I've got an 8 across the top. I have a ghost row of an 8 through the middle, and I have an 8 coming down the bottom. That leaves us 1 spot for our 8. I see a 9 down the middle and a 9 down the right side, leaves us 1 spot for our 9. I see a 9 across the bottom, so we have 2 spots for our 9. Anytime you see a row, a sequence like this where you can get a row singled out, it's always good to see what's covered up. Same here, 6, 8, 9. So see the 6 comes down, and it leaves 2 spots for a 6, which is good. We have a ghost row of a 6 and a 6 and a 6. So we know that has to be a 6 there. We have a 2 across the middle and a 2 across the bottom. So we know that we have to have a 2 here. I'm just kind of going off the pairs here. So see these 8s across the top, across the bottom. We have 2 spots for the 8s. I see 2 4s here, 4 through the middle, 4 through the right. So we have 2 spots for the 4s here. I see 2 1s here, 1 across the middle, 1 across the bottom, 1 down the left side. So we have there. Now we have 2 1s here, so 1 down the right, 1 down the left, just 1 spot left for a 1. So that lets us know that one has to be our 8. Okay, so that's good. That's helping us now. Now in this particular row here, we've only got 2 numbers left, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a 6. Well, we can't have a 6 here, so that has to be our 5. That has to be our 6. Okay. Alright, let's see what else we have pairwise. Okay, well we have 2 numbers missing here. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5 and a 6. Well, what do you know there, folks? 5 and a 6. Okay, so when a 5 and a 6 comes across, and we have a 5 here and a 6 here, so we know these 2 are going to be our 5, and we know these 2 are going to be our 6. And we're also missing a 1 and a 7 across the bottom row. Got a 1 here. Now that's, but see, a 1 could also go here. We can't rule it out just yet. Okay, so we've got our 5 and our 6. We have a 5 across the bottom, 5 across the top, and a 5 in the right lane. So we can put that there. We've got some 4s here. 4 on the left, 4 in the center. Again, just working on pairs here. Now see, we had 2 4s here with this 4 coming across. That takes care of that 4 for us. Now we have a 4 across the top. We have a 4 across the middle. So we have 2 spots for our 4. This one isn't going to help us because it's right in the middle. Now it looks like we also have a 4 across the top, 4 across the middle, and we have split 4s again here. So that's okay. That'll be good here. I do see an 8 here. 8 comes up, 8 comes down through the middle. So we have 2 spots for our 8. I see 2 pairs of 2 9s here, 9 across the middle, 9 across the bottom. Still leaves us 3 for the 9. So let's leave that for just a moment. But nines here, we've got a left 9 and a center 9 and a top 9. There we go. Now that'll help us over here because we have a 9 across the bottom, a 9 across the top. Now, folks, we have a crisscross pattern here. See these 9s? If this is a 9, then this one has to be a 9. If this is a 9, this one has to be a 9. So 9s are taken care of in the left row and the center row. So even though here in the center cube, 9 could technically be any one of these three because we have a 9 in the middle, 9 across the bottom, this X pattern eliminates those two rows. You can't have a 9 in one of these two, which leaves us only one spot left. This X pattern is very important in the harder puzzles, so it's good to keep an eye on those as they pop up. Let's see what other patterns, doubles we have. Okay, we've got these 8s marked, we got the 2s marked, we got the 4s marked. I'm not seeing a lot of 3s, but here's a 3 that comes up, and we have a 3 that comes through the middle. So we have a ghost row of 3s. We have a 3 on the left now, a 3 down the middle. So we know that one of these two is going to be our 3. We do have a 3 in the left. We have a 3 in the right. Now see, the 3 are in the top two here and the bottom two here. So over here, it's not going to give us that X pattern because we have different choices there. Okay, alright, so we've got this one covered. I do notice that there's a 1 here and a 1 here, which tells me that this has to be our 1. It can't be here. I was just kind of looking and seeing what numbers are missing in this column. We've got our 1. We're going to need a 2. Well, the 2 can't be here and a 2 can't be here. So it looks like in this column, 2 is going to be one of these fellers. Now I'm looking here in this particular row for this 2 help. Well, 2 can't be in the top 2 and 2 can't be over here. So 2 is going to have to be in one of these because, of course, you got this 2 down here. And then it looks like we're missing a 7. So we've got our 1, we've got our 2, we've got our 3, and we've got a 7. So 7 looks like it can be pretty much anywhere here at the moment. Okay, we have a 2 in the left column, we have a 2 in the right column, and we have a 2 in the middle row. Gives us just a single 2. Now we just marked one of these two had to be our 2. Well, it can't be this one. This is the only one left. Now this was 1 could only go here, and this one now, the only number in this cube left is a 7. Okay, now we're going to take the 2 out. Now remember, we're still missing our 7, but now we know it's got to be in one of these 2 spots. Okay, so now these 2 are double locked. If we're looking, of course, you know, at this column, of course it's got to be a 3 or a 7, but now when we're looking at this cube, these 2 still have to be in 3 and a 7. So we've got our 1. Here we go. We got a 2 straight through the middle. Okay, we just have one spot left for our 2. Now up here, we have a 2. Well, this one has to be our 2 now. And there was a 3, so we can clean that up. Okay, now we do have a 3. I know I'm kind of just following the rabbit here. We have a 3 in the bottom. We have a 3 in the middle. And we have a 3 in the right. So we've got that one, and now here we've got a 3 in the right, we've got a 3 down the center. We now have 2 spots for our 3. So remember, we had the 3's in the bottom, the 3's in the top, and now we have a split 3. That's a very standard pattern. You might find that quite a bit. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to this cube here. We're missing one number that we don't have, and that looks like an 8. See, this has to be a 3 and a 7. So we have to have a 5 and an 8. Well, there's our 8, so we know that has to be an 8, that has to be our 5. Okay, so we are just missing one number here, which looks like a 1. This 1 comes up the left side. 1 is all that we're missing. We now have a 1 through the middle, 1 through the bottom. So we just have one spot left for our 1. Now we bring this 1 down on the left column, we bring the 1 down on the right column. So the only spot for a 1 down here is right here, a 1, which leaves us a 9. which cascades and helps us with this 9. Remember, we had that X pattern there. Okay. Now we're still missing our 7 down here in this bottom row. Okay, a 5, 6, and a 7. And then we've got what numbers are we missing here? We're missing a 5, and a 7, and a 4. Okay. Okay, now we got 2 numbers that we're missing here, and we are missing a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5, and a 7. Well, what do you know? That's 7, that illustrious 7. 5 and a 7, okay. Let's see what else we have here. We've got 3 spots missing here. Now we need an 8 in this column here. See, I've got an 8 here. Well, I notice this already has an 8 in this row, and I notice this one already has an 8 in this row. So just by elimination, this is actually the only spot that can be an 8. So now we have an 8 in the left, we have an 8 in the center. So now, folks, we have another double elimination. These two have to be a 3 and an 8 no matter what. We have a 5 and a 6 here, which gives us a 5 and a 6 here. These two are double locked, now these two are double locked. Okay, so now those are tied together. The 2 numbers that we're missing here are going to be the other ones that are tied together, which look like a 6 and a 7. So let's mark those, 6 and a 7, 6 and a 7. Now we're missing a 6 and a 7 here, because we've got our 5 here in this row. So those are all locked. So once those start to cascade and resolve, it'll just fall apart. Okay. Alright, so we know up here, because this is a 3 and an 8, we know that one of these two have to be a 7. Okay, because I'm starting to stretch my solutions here. I know one of these two have to be a 7. Plus, remember that crisscross pattern? Look at this, we have it again. If this is a 7, then this is a 7. If this is a 7, this is a 7. So this middle and this bottom row are completely taken care of with 7s. Okay, so we have either our 7 is either going to be here or our 7 is going to be here for this column. And we're missing also a 6 and a 3. Okay, so this one can be a 3 or this one could be a 6, but not a 7. Our 7 is locked up here. Okay. All right. So we are filling in numbers here. So we need a 5 and a 7 and a 6 right here. Okay, 5 and a 7 and a 6. So we're getting really close. Do you guys see what I'm missing? There's just like a linchpin that just will tumble these dominoes right down. Okay, so what am I missing maybe in this right column? Let's see here. I need a 5. 5 can be here, but a 5 can't be here because of this one, but a 5 could be here. And then, of course, I need my 7s. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so in this column here, I need a 7. Now, it could be here, right, because I don't have anything else to help with a 7. It could be here. Can it be here? And the answer is no, because remember this crisscross 7s? 7 has to be here. So in this particular column, I'm missing a 4, a 5, and a 7. Now, 4, 5, and 7 could go here, 4, 5, and 7 could go here, but the only number that can fit in this block is a 4. Can't be a 5, can't be a 7. We have this crisscross termination here. So the only number that this one can be is a 4. And that right there is going to cascade and just tumble all the dominoes down. That one little number that was tied up in there is going to just fall all the dominoes down. Okay, so we had one of these two as our 4, so that's going to be our 4, and I'm going to clean up my pencil marks as we go here. Okay, all right, so no more 4 here. I'm going to clean that up. Okay, all right, so let me see here. We still have a possibility for an 8. Not a 7 though. Could this be a 6? It could be a 6. and we're missing a 5 and a 7 up here. Okay, so let me update my pencil marks here. 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7. Okay, got 3, 6, and 7 in this column still. Okay. This one, it could be a 5 or a 7. This one could be a 5 or a 7 or a 6. Okay. Alright, what else am I missing here, folks? There's a number I am still missing. I thought that 4 would cascade it all. I've got one more that I've got to resolve here. Let's see here. Got my 7s and my 7s, my 8s, okay, 7s, 3s, 3 and a 6, 6 and a 7, okay. What am I missing? Do you see it? This is, I get kind of caught on this last little bit here. Okay, I have a 5 high, I've got a 5 low, so 5 can be anywhere. Got a 7 low, a 7 split. 7 can be anywhere. Okay, so these two, let's see here. I've got a 1, I've got a 2. Okay, my 3 is here high. 4, 5. Okay, so where's my 6? So I've got a 6 that comes across. So this could be a 6. I need to finish my markings. I'm missing a couple markings here. Okay, so this could be a 6. Okay, I know our 7 has to be across the top because these two are locked, and these two are locked, that crisscross. There's our 7. Our 8 has to be here, and our 9. Okay, I think that's good. What am I missing? What am I missing? See, I might get to the point here where I have to guess one, and I don't want to do that. Kind of play it out a little bit and see if it will work. So my mind is kind of leaning to the centerpiece here because I have a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3. These 3s and these 7s and 6s are all interlocked. So that's where my brain is going. So let me do a quick gamble. And let's say I do a 3 on the top. I did this as a 3. That would make the bottom one an 8. If I did this as a 3, that would make this far one a 7 here. And if that was a 7, that would make the top one an 8 here, which would make the bottom one a 6, which would make this middle one a 3, which would then make a 7 and a 3. And if that's a 6, then that would be a 7 and a 6. Does that work? That all does work. Now what if I flip that around? Let's just see if the other works. So if I did an 8 and a 3, so if that one's an 8, then that one's a 7, and that one's a 3, and that one's a 6, and that one's an 8. Okay, and if that's a 6, then that one is a 7, and that one's a 6, and that one's a 7, and that one's a 3. Well, I'm a little kerfuffled. So this whole center section, no matter which way I try it, it seems to work out. Which, with Sudoku, there is no all working it out. It will not. One of them will fail. So the center section is not my linchpin. Let me look at this top one. There's a lot of 5s and 7s, 5s and 7s. Let's try and see how that plays out. So if I do a 5 here on this first one, it's going to make a 6, going to make a 7. Okay, if that's a 7, then that's a 5 and a 6. Okay, that's going to be our 7. That's going to be our 5. Okay. Okay, so I just tried these three. If this is a 7, that makes this a 5. Now if I have a 5 here and a 5 here, that makes this a 5. And if this is a 7, that makes this a 7. And if this is a 7 and this is a 5, then this is supposed to be a 7. Well, how did I do that wrong? I think it's because I don't have the possibilities of 7s marked down here. I'm throwing myself off. See, that's the complication of having enough pencil marks to know which ones. If that's a 7, then that's a 5. Okay, and then if this is a 7 and this is a 5, so 7 comes down, this is now our 7, which means this is an 8, this is a 3, and this is a 6, because that's our 8. So we have 7, 8, 6, 5. Which makes this center one here a 6, that one a 7 here, and that one a 5, and that works out. Okay, so if that's a 5, That's a 7. I wish my brain could resolve this and find out that little linchpin that I cannot see. This one could be a 7. This one could be a 7. This one can be a 5 and a 7. This one could be a 5 and a 7. And there we go. Now we're fully marked out. Okay, so if these are a 5 and a 7, if this is a 7, wow, I'm really tied up here, folks. Well, so I tried it one way and it went all the way through. So that tells me that had to be the way, but I'm not sure how it was I guess one way or the other. There's all these numbers here. I just tried it one way. I tried this as a 7 and this is a 5. Now if that's our 5, that there's our 7, that there is our 6, and that there is our 5. If this is our 6, well then this is our 3, and that makes this one our 7. This is the only one left for our 6, and this is the only one left for our 8. This is the only one left for our 3 and our 8. Now we have a 3 here, so that means this one's 7. This one's 3. Now we have a 7 here, so that makes this one our 6. We have a 6 here, that makes this one our 7. Now from 7, we go up here to 5 and 7. Okay, so we have 7 done, so let's go ahead and take our 7s out. Okay, we have only one spot left for a 7 here. Okay, our 5 is done, so one spot left for our 6, which makes this our 6, makes this our 5. We've got a 6 here now, this is a 5, and we've got a 5 here, which makes this our 6. So there is still a pattern I have not found yet in these very hard puzzles, and I'm still trying to work on it, but there you go. I still have to take my little pencil and try it out when I get to that very end. I'm still watching some other YouTube videos, watching other masters to see how I can find what I'm getting caught up on. So if you guys see what I'm missing, feel free to let me know. I would appreciate any suggestions and comments, challenges. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. And happy Sudokuing.